This year we were blessed with some blockbuster animes like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and My Dress Up Darling. Thanks to these great shows, the year started off with a bang. This trend was carried on with full force by the spring anime season, which gave us some new delights like Spy Family and Summertime Rendering, and also brought back some beloved shows like Kaguya-sama and Komsi-san. And now looking at the shows coming out in the summer of 2022, I'm certain that this is going to be a great year for anime. So let's check out the top 10 animes that are going to entertain us this summer. But before we start, make sure to smash that subscribe button to support the channel. Now, let's get on with it. At number 10, we have the sequel to a rather unknown 2021 show, Shadow's House. How this mystery, slice-of-life anime remained under the radar is beyond me. It has amazing characters and an interesting premise that follows Emilico, who's a cute living doll that represents her Shadow Master. She lives in a society of dolls, all of whom follow the whims of their masters. But under the surface, these dolls have their own hidden agendas. Emilico's journey in this world is a joy, and now is the perfect time to pick up this anime since the second season is just around the corner. At number 9, we have the original skeleton isekai, Overlord. The fantasy slow burner returns with its 4th season, and there's a big buzz amongst the show's huge fan base. For people who haven't watched the show, Overlord tells the story of a guy who gets stuck in an MMORPG where he plays the role of an almighty wizard, Ainz Ul-Gaun, whose name sounds like something concocted by a delusional middle schooler. We follow Ainz as he explores the highly complex world around him and wages wars to become the overlord of that fantasy world. The show suffers from average animation and a slow progression, but its highly intricate world building and deep characters make it a must-watch for isekai fans out there. Next up at number 8, we have the slice-of-life anime The Yakuzas Guide to Babysitting, which in my opinion is going to be the best slice-of-life comedy of this summer. The show is about a gangster named Toru Kirishima who enjoys his violent gang life. He is a heartless criminal who doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. However, it all changes when Toru's boss asks him to babysit his shy daughter. This quirky setup kind of reminds me of Hinamatsuri, which makes sense since both of these anime are made by Feel Studios. The unique character design, the heartwarming music, all of this promises to bring us a slice-of-life gem this summer. Moving on from the slice-of-life genre, we have another fantasy at number 7 on our list. This time, it's the 4th season of Matchy, a show that can be regarded as the flag bearer of fantasy anime for the last 7 years. The show revolves around our overly optimistic protagonist, Bell, who wants to become the greatest adventurer in the world. His dream is a lofty one, but luckily he has a goddess named Hestia on his side. With her help, Bell wanders through the dungeons to find bigger monsters to slay. The show's beautiful animation and a huge cast of characters help it move forward at a good pace. One of the big things about this anime is how well it uses comedy and romance to keep us coming back for more. So with the 4th season upon us, make sure to give this fantasy show a try. At number 6, we have Uncle from Another World. Yeah, you heard that right. We have some Oji-san action going down in this isekai. Being familiar with the manga, I won't spoil too much, but I would tell you that this premise is like a blessing for anyone who's fed up with all the generic isekai shows that are coming out every single day. Seriously, to the creators of these copy-paste shows, I would just like to say one thing.
Stop it. Get some help.
So unlike most isekai, this show discusses what happens when you finally return from your adventures in another world. Our protagonist Takafumi is shocked when his uncle wakes up after staying in a coma for 17 years. The man was apparently living an adventure life in some other world. Now that he's back, Takafumi has to do his best to explain how much the world has moved forward in his uncle's absence. With such a strong setup, the anime can go really high, so I'm kind of hyped for this one. Next up, we have the vampire anime Call of the Night at number 5 on our list. I have to admit, it's been a while since I've seen some blood-sucking action in anime, but that's because vampire animes are usually really bad. But after watching the trailer, I have really high hopes for this one. Call of the Night is a supernatural romantic show that begins when our protagonist, Kuyamori, quits middle school and becomes an insomniac. He takes lonely walks at night to keep himself busy, and on one of these walks, he comes across Nazuna, who tells him the reason for his insomnia. Later on, Ku learns the hard way that Nazuna is actually a vampire. From the trailer, you can see how great the animation is, and the characters are also quite unique in their behaviour. More importantly, the show is being made by Leiden Film Studio, which gave us the great Tokyo Revengers. So let's hope Call of the Night is just as good, if not better. At number 4 on our list, we have the anime that polarized the community in 2020 to such an extent that I thought a war was going to break out in the streets. I'm talking about the romantic comedy Rent-a-Girlfriend. Watching this anime, I too felt conflicted. It's corny and cliched as hell, yet for some reason, you can't help but watch every episode with a childlike sense of happiness. The show is about a college student, Kazuya, who is the definition of a loser. He's a weird guy who's suffering from the aftershocks of a messy breakup. He's desperate to meet someone, so he decides to rent a girlfriend from a website. The girl turns out to be Chizuru, aka the best girl in the anime. She's way out of Kazuya's league, but due to some cliched circumstances, she keeps hanging out with him. The show's art style is good, the characters are realistic, and more importantly, they're not shallow. All of them have their own personalities, and that's what drives this show forward. So even though I was conflicted while watching it, I'm really looking forward to the second season, just like every other mouth breather out there. Next up at number 3, we have the much awaited sequel to The Mysterious Classroom of the Elite. This psychological drama was an instant hit 5 years ago when it first released. It's about a special school where students are placed in classes based on their grades. Each class is treated differently, with Class A getting all the perks, while Class D is ostracized by the whole school. Our seemingly carefree protagonist Kiyotaka is placed in Class D, where he meets ambitious Susan, who wants to reach Class A. Since Class D can do anything it wants to improve its rating, Kiyotaka and his classmates come up with new, and often underhand ways to get ahead. The show's unique tropes and mysterious characters are enough to keep you hooked, but what's really great about this anime is the plot twists. It really plays with your psychology by creating scenarios that can only work in this kind of universe. So it's safe to say that Season 2 has a lot of hype behind it. At number 2 on our list, we have the hauntingly beautiful Made in Abyss, which finally returns with a brand new season. The show amazed people in the summer of 2017 with its beautiful animation and mature storyline. It's about a giant hole in the ground which is known as the Abyss. The Abyss fascinates people, and some of the people known as divers risk their lives to search the depths of this otherworldly place. Our protagonist Riko is the daughter of one of the divers who went missing a while ago. Riko wants to follow her mum into the Abyss, but everyone tells her that the Abyss is not a place for children. Then one day, Riko finds a robot named Reg who clearly came out of the Abyss. Riko wants to know who made Reg, so together, they start a journey to scour the Abyss. Their journey is perilous and it requires ultimate sacrifices, but it gives the viewer an eye-opening experience for sure. So if you haven't watched this beautiful show, pick it up. You won't regret even a second you spent watching it. Now, before we tell you about the number 1 anime on our list, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. The Devil is a Part-Timer, Season 2. The number 1 anime on our list is the most hyped show of the summer season, The Devil is a Part-Timer. The Isekai show returns after nearly 10 years since the first season was released, all the way back in 2013. This one has made fans wait a lot, and many people, including myself, had given up hopes of ever seeing a second season, but it's finally happening, and let me tell you why you need to be excited. The show tells the story of Demon King Mao, who accidentally came to Earth while fighting the great hero Emilia. Now, Mao and his great general are trying to survive on Earth, where they can only use magic on rare occasions. They're basically humans now, and eventually, they have to work to put food on the table. To their surprise, Emilia also came to Earth and she too is stuck here. The show tells the story of these legendary foes who are trying to live a normal life by working 9-to-5 jobs. The premise was unheard of back in 2013, and the show became a cult favourite over the years. Even today, you can enjoy the originality of its story, and this is what makes it so special.